Now I am going to show you how to insert the data into the database using PHP. In order to insert the data into the database, first you have to understand the query. What is the query I have to write here? That is insert into. This query I have to write here. So here you will have to write insert into table name. So you will have to give the table name. Then you will have to specify the column names where you will go to insert the information. Then just put the values, and in the values you just call value 1, value 2, value 3, etc. Okay, I am going to copy this example, and now I am going to the PDO method. In the PDO method, here you see that I wrote a code to connect. So here I am going to paste it. I am going to remove this one. Okay, so I am going to insert the data into the testdb001 database, and here is students table. Here I am going to insert the data. I will give the fields name here. If I go to the student table, you see that first name, last name, email and phone, these 4 fields are there. So first name, last name, email, phone, total 4 fields. You will have to give into parentheses first, and then you will have to call the values, and then you will just set the values for those. So in the first name, this one will be inserted, into last name this one will be inserted, into email this one will be inserted, and into phone this one will be inserted. So just follow the orders. What you will give here first, that will this first value will be added into the first column. It is the second column, and here in the parameter, the second parameter will be inserted into the second item, second column. In this way it will be inserted. So here I am going to give a message that is success. Now I am going to reload the page. You see that success, and this table I am going to reload, and you will see that the data has been inserted here. First name is Smith, last name Ranson, email is this, and phone number is this. This is the first information I have inserted. I am going to show you another thing, that is, if you want to insert multiple data, you can also do that. In order to insert the multiple data here, I will just use this type of string. Okay, so here I just copy this data, and I am going to paste it here. In order to insert the multiple data, you will have to call here. You see that the object is here, the variable CONN. So call the CONN. You can change it by any name. This is just object. You can call it by any name, no problem. And this object will have to call by this object the begin transaction method. So here I will call the CONN and begin transaction, then execute like before. I will call the query insert into students, first name, last name, email, phone, and the values will be these, and these. So another students I am going to input here, and you see that this set is separate, and in the third item this one is another student. And lastly I can just call connection of commit function. Okay, so begin transaction in the first, and in the last you will have to use this function, and in the middle you can write as many lines of code as you want. In this way you can insert the multiple data here. Now if I run this page, refresh, now in the students table I am going to refresh. You see that this data, and this data, that means ID 2, 3 and 4 are inserted now using this code. I am going to show you another thing here in order to insert the information, that is last ID of this. That means when you are going to insert the data here, so the last ID, I am going to do one thing, that is like the previous code what I did here. You see just this code I am going to copy, and here I am going to comment it out, and this was actually the previous code. And here I will do one thing, that is I will insert another student here. For example, Ray Johnson, ray@example.com, like this. Okay, so after the data is inserted, I will do another thing, that is the last ID where data is inserted. I will get that. In order to get that, after this line I am going to put it. This thing actually is very useful when you will work to do the practical application. For example, you are going to develop an e-commerce project. So here the same data you can need to insert into, for example, the order table first. Then the order table has the relation with the products table, and in which ID the order is inserting, you need to get that information. And getting that information, getting that ID as a foreign key, you want to insert that data into another table, for example into the products table. So in this type of cases, it can be happen in many times in many cases. So here I need to know the last ID. So for that reason I am going to show you the last ID. Okay, so in which ID it will be inserted. I am going to of the success message. Okay, let's do that. You see that the ID is now 4, so the fifth information will be inserted into the ID number 5. So the last ID will be the ID 5. Now I am going to refresh it. You will see that the 5 is in the output. If I refresh it, you will see that the number last one has been inserted into the ID 5. So the last inserted ID will come here, it will be 5. So this thing, I hope you have understood how I have inserted the data into the database using PHP.